want to talk about scary visions at night, as the title says. Can you really explain what you see when you know your eyes is open, you're awake, but you can't move? Yesterday, I talked about sleep paralysis. Now, I want to go into another video. This is part two. We're going to talk about Job's friend, Eliphaz. I want to use this picture as I talk through the video because the devil loves to get at us, especially when we're trying to go to sleep. Now, we're going back to Job chapter 4. We're just going to read verses 12 through 16, and then we're going to come back and expound and point out some key points. Now, it says, "Now thing was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a little thereof." Notice he says, "In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep followed on me. Fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones shake. Then the spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes, there was silence. And I heard a voice saying, shall mortal men be more just than God?" With a question mark. Shall mortal men be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Right? Job chapter 4, verses 12 through 17. May the Most High add a blessing to the readers and the hearers and the doers of his holy word. Now, we all familiar with Job, right? And this is his friend, Eliphaz. Okay? This is the one that started accusing Job of doing something wrong when he saw Job suffering. And you must have did some type of sin in Job. But look at what he says, that he fell into a deep sleep, just like sleep paralysis. He's described his body trembling, bones shaking. He's in fear. He's telling Job this story, this dream, this vision, we could say. And notice when he's telling Job this, again, Job going through so much. He used this, if you want to say vision or dream, I'm going to say a better word with vision. He used this scary, dark night vision to tell Job. But notice at the end it says, shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? See, if you really catch this, then he says a spirit passed before his face, right? Hair on his flesh rose up. He stood still. Notice he said he couldn't really discern the form, the image that was before his eyes. He really couldn't explain it. Then he said it was just silence. But then he heard a voice that asked that question. Now let's look deeper into this. He was asleep. Let's break it down in order. He was asleep, right? We've been there. It was nighttime. Let's point that out. It wasn't daytime. It wasn't a nap. It was at night, and he was asleep. And he saw this vision. And then it made him scared and terrified. And the spirit passed before him. Notice he didn't say the Holy Spirit, but he couldn't explain the form. But he heard a voice that says, what? Shall mortal man be more just than God? See, he didn't like the fact that Job pleaded his case to the Most High. Let's point that out too. And he used this against Job while Job was suffering. Job, you must have done something wrong. Another point we want to make out right here. Watch who your friends is. Watch who you're listening to. And so you got to give answers to that. Because see, this friend Eliphaz was not saying nothing about the Holy Spirit. Catch that part. You may have some friends that when you're going through, they might just speak some more things on you, and they don't even recognize the Holy Spirit. Oh, teach Holy Spirit. Eliphaz didn't say nothing about the Most High. Knowing that Job is a praying man, knowing Job was called an upright man, knowing that Job shunned evil, this was a righteous man, Job was. But what was his friend talking about? He used this against Job. Job, you did something wrong. You sinned. That's why you're in the shape you're in, because you sinned. See, Eliphaz, which was Job's friend, he was not speaking right about Job's situation. And if you keep reading on down in chapters after chapter, you'll find out that the Most High had to rebuke Eliphaz because he spoke wrong about Job. He didn't even acknowledge the Most High, and he was speaking wrong about Job's situation. You got to be careful what your friends are speaking to you in your life. Be careful. Now, did this vision that Eliphaz had, did it come from the Most High? Or was this the devil? It's my question to you. See, I wanted this to be a live chat, but I done got kicked off my StreamYard where I can't even log in, right? And I'm dealing with that right now. So I'm doing this in a normal video, but I really wanted to make this a live chat, but the Holy Spirit told me to go ahead and go on with it anyway. But I want to have an open discussion with this. So this is just a normal video, of course. But the Most High had to rebuke his friend. Matter of fact, the other two with him, you know, because he let him know when you get down to Job 42, chapter 42, around verse 7, the Most High showed us Eliphaz gonna feel the wrath. Him and his mother, two friends, because they wasn't speaking right, as we just said, and they had to make sacrifices to the Most High. Think about it. See, oftentimes in the Bible, they had visions that shook them up. Look at Daniel. They even got pale in the face. There are some things that were shown, but again, my question to you is, did this come from the Most High, or was this more of a nightmare? And was his friend Eliphaz using this to get at Job? That's my question again. Could this dream or nightmare or vision, whatever one you want to call it, I'm going to say vision, because sometimes what we call in dreams is nightmares. And I like to make this point when I talk to preachers, because the Most High shows us in his word, holy word, he gives the visions. The vision is he makes it, shows it. But then there's a lot of preachers, they don't see the vision, and they have a dream, and they get their dream mixed up with the vision of the Holy Spirit that caused the vision to be the vision. Oh, help me, Holy Spirit. You caught that right. Which make the vision that comes from the Holy Spirit is confusion, not the Holy Spirit that's confusing, but they using their dream that messed up the vision that's causing the vision. Teach, Holy Spirit. But see, Ezekiel saw the visions of the Most High, the glory. Look at John in Revelation. But see, not every dream is from the Holy Spirit. Not every dream is always spiritual, my brothers and sisters. See, let me put up something here, and I'll be done after this. There we go. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5:3 for a moment. I believe this is Solomon. For a dream comes through much activity. Don't miss that. And a fool's voice through many words. Look at that part. A fool's voice through much activity. That means your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, what you're going through. So this is why you got to be careful what you're watching, what you're listening to, who you're hanging around, where you're going. And you may be stressed out, having a bad day, having a bad week, going through so much. And next thing you know, you're dreaming about what you're going through. And then I'll turn it to a nightmare. And you're trying to figure out what just happened in my sleep. That's why it's so dangerous. And I got to add this in there before I close, because I talked about it so much on her. That's why it's so dangerous to be off in pornography. Think about what I'm saying. Visions, images, pictures, videos, music again. All this stuff will have you having dreams and nightmares. And that's why I talked about the whoring around and the incubus and succubus spirit years ago. You paralyzed. Let me get the picture back up here. You get paralyzed in your sleep, but you can't move. Notice what I got in there. I can't move, but I'm awake. I just talked about this yesterday. This is like more of the part 2 to close out with it. Notice if you look at this picture, this woman can't move, and it's something in the background, standing in the door. I can relate to this, but I really can't explain what I saw. Just like Joel's friend, Eliphaz, couldn't really explain what he saw. Now, family, on that note, this is why it's so important to be prayed up when you go to sleep. Stay prayed up, family. You got to. And remember, keep the Most High first. Pray over your children. It's so beautiful to just pray and be real with your prayer. Be sincere, be genuine, and do not pray in doubt. Pray that prayer of protection, like D-Way always talk about. Let your sleep be sweet. See, when you're going through sleep paralysis, your sleep is not sweet. It's terrifying. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. So on that note, my brothers and sisters, y'all take care, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful blessed day. Shalom.